Point guard is the most important position in all of basketball. It's also the position with the most elements that need to be polished before you can play at a high level. In this video, you'll learn from multiple different point guards with multiple different playstyles. What do you do here? Do you hit Jakari Harris in the corner? Do you take the shot? Or something else? Braden Smith sees this big man trying to guard both him and his man, and nobody watching the 7-footer Purdue has camped in the short corner ready for the alley-oop. Braden Smith is probably the best passer and pure point guard in college basketball, and only standing at 6 foot tall, this is extremely impressive. So let's look at the reads he tends to make, and not only that, but why he tends to make those reads. Here he drives and keeps it simple with a short midi fade. Braden uses this fading shot a lot, which makes sense, since he's usually shorter than whoever is guarding him, and he's developed a great fading shot. Here, Braden drives in just a bit to the right, then goes up for a fake shot. This makes the defender guarding the wing shooter completely disregard his man, who has been moving off ball into the corner for a wide open 3. This fake shot pass is also a favorite of Braden's, and is very useful for throwing off defenders and getting easy assists, but can also be dangerous, so make sure the guy you're passing to is going to be open so you don't travel. On this play, Braden sees that Maryland is in what looks to be a 3-2 zone. So what he does is drives off the handoff with a wide angle, knowing that since he took one of the wing defenders near the paint, that one guy on the perimeter should be open, and he caught Camden Heide cutting for the and one. Here he gets it on a fast break, and most people watching, or if they were in his shoes, probably would have hit Jakari Harris, who's the furthest one down the court, which wouldn't have been a bad pass, but ultimately he probably would have gotten a contested layup. But instead, he knows he has the best 3-point shooter in the Big Ten trailing him, so he kicks it out to Fletcher Lawyer for the open 3 instead. Here, Braden gets a ball screen, and the defender tries to go over and gets caught up for just a second, which is enough for Braden Smith to get his 3-point shot off. Being as good of a shooter as Smith opens up so much for his whole team and is vital to his passing and scoring success. Here, Fletcher Lawyer is cutting off of a screen and is open, so Braden Smith throws off his defender with his eyes by barely looking at him, then does a quick shovel pass so his defender can't react fast enough to get a hand on it. Here he gets a ball screen and the roller got open, so Braden put the ball in the perfect place where only he could get it, and he scored the bucket. Here he's going downhill but wants to get the ball to his big man posting up, so he gets set on 2 feet, then pump fakes into a wraparound pass into the post. Here Braden gets into the paint with the defender on his hip, and he draws some help from the paint, but not enough to just pass it to his big man. So instead, he does a step back so the paint defender has to step up, then he goes into another shot fake pass for the easy layup. On this play, Braden has a slower big man guarding him, and what you want to do in this situation as a guard is usually not shoot a 3. Like Braden does here, you could do a hezzy into a layup where he puts the ball near the top of the backboard with some immaculate touch to make it go in. Here, Braden gets a ball screen, or more of a fake ball screen, and with 2 defenders near him, but none of them really playing defense on him, he gets into his spot for the short corner fade. On this play, Braden is sizing up his defender until he loses his dribble, and when he loses his dribble, he immediately explodes downhill to throw off his defender and get by him for the layup. Here, Braden is going downhill, and he stops on a dime and goes up for the mid-range shot. He can do this because of his change of pace control being so developed. On this play, Braden catches the ball at the top of the key, and as soon as he catches the ball, he rips it and changes his pace from 0 to 100 in a second to throw off his defender and get a layup. Here, Braden sees his big man attract 2 defenders on the wing, so he spaces out to the corner for the wide open 3, but he's not leaving his big man stranded out there to turn it over. If he thought he was about to turn it over, he would have came over and helped, but Braden knew his big man had the ball under control, so he spaced out for the open 3. On this play, Braden is running a fast break and he sees that he's a 2-on-1 advantage. So he drives it in further enough so the defender has to help, and farther enough away so he can throw the lob to his teammate for the easy dunk. Here, Braden does a low cross into the middle of the court to get into this one-legged mid-range shot. On this play, Braden brings the ball to the right side of the court to do that same move as last time, except this time he's doing it to flip to the defender's hips to pass it to his big man in the paint. Rob Dillingham is a natural scorer, and what the difference is between him and other players is that he uses his mind more than his attributes. I mean, obviously he has a great handle and a great shot, but he's extremely crafty and one of the deepest bags I've ever seen. And that's why you can learn more from his film than just about anybody else's. So, let's dive into it. So if you know Rob Dillingham at all, you know that he's a great shooter. His speed and handle is what you see on the highlight tapes, but having a great shot is the cornerstone to all scoring. His shooting opens up drives because when a great shooter like Rob does a hezzy, you almost have to fall for it. It opens up his teammates for easy assists. And I know you think of Rob Dillingham as an ISO scorer, but he can really play in a system coming off ball screens and cuts and hitting open shots. So obviously Rob is a fast player. His speed is what many people know him for. It allows him to get by people with ease and get out on fast breaks for easy buckets. But he's also good at controlling his speed. He goes really fast, but he can slow down for the finish. And no matter how fast he is going, he's always in control. He can always stop and pop, or pass out if he needs to. You can often see Rob taking long strides in transition to slow down and finish at the rim. Rob Dillingham is an excellent finisher at the rim. He has very crafty finishes which allow him to get around the defense with some pretty nice looking layups. He has a nice floater to keep the defense honest on his drives. When Rob drives, the defenders are anticipating an attack at the rim, he's going to try to block it. But Rob always knows when to pull out that floater for the easy 2 points. The arc on his floater allows to get it over nearly every block attempt. If you don't have a floater game as a guard, you're doing something wrong and should fix it right now. If you get a floater game as good as Rob's, you could probably add 4 or 5 points every game, and that would stack up quick. So Rob Dillingham has insane speed, but this isn't just genetics. You can gain speed through training and workouts, or you could join your school's track team and train there. But Rob Dillingham's speed allows him to get buckets that nobody else can. As you can see here, his speed lets him get way in front of everybody for the easy dunk and transition. He not only has the skills to get by you, but the speed to freeze you and beat the help defenders to the rim. And when someone is that fast, it prompts you to step back and hope not to get blown by. And you know what happens when you don't guard up. Rob Dillingham has an extremely deep bag, and we can learn a lot from some of these moves and maybe add some of them to our bag. Right here you can see Rob uses the ball screen to get leverage on the defender. His hips are completely turned, and Rob seeing this does a cross to make him flip his hips, and when Rob does the step back, the defender has no chance to contest it. So turning the defender's hip brings up our next segment, and Rob is very good at this. But why do I even care about turning their hips? They're still on you. Yeah, you're right. But when you turn their hips, it makes your life completely easier. If their hips are turned, you can snatch back, which Rob Dillingham loves to do. You also just have overall leverage of where the defender goes. Right here, he turns the defender's hips and goes right by him. But on this play, he turns the defender's hips and it just snatches back for the open shot. Any great scorer in the history of basketball has been confident, and Rob is no different. He doesn't hesitate to shoot open jumpers, and he can miss 10 shots and be just as eager to shoot that 11th shot as he was the first shot. It's about how you look at the game mentally, because we all know mentality is half the game. You can learn so much by watching Kyrie play and really just breaking down his game. He has such a deep bag of moves and finishes, and probably the best handle in basketball. So let's get into what makes him so great. Kyrie plays with this level of calmness in him at all times. And I'm not saying he doesn't try or hustle, because he absolutely does. But I'm more saying he doesn't get intimidated or scared by defenders. One thing he does that makes him appear so calm is the float dribble. Kyrie and nearly every good guard uses a float dribble all the time. Whether he's reading defenses, trying to find an open teammate, or setting up a combo, he always stays cool and collected. Kyrie is great at changing his pace, whether it's going from slow to fast to blow by a defender, or fast to slow like a snatchback or a slow Euro step to throw off the defender's timing in the paint. But it isn't always an ankle-breaking snatchback. He's great at small, subtle changes of pace you might not even notice watching in full speed on TV. Like here, where he slows down for half a second, then goes fast again and finishes at the rim. Kyrie is a master of this, and the thing that makes him so shifty, he is good at going fast at the rim, then slowing down near the basket for the finish. He often uses long strides near the basket to slow down, or since he's such a great finisher, he can make crazy layups with not so good angles like this. Kyrie Irving's playmaking ability is one of the most underappreciated aspects of his game. Known for his scoring and flashy ball handling, Kyrie also excels at manipulating defenses to create scoring opportunities for his teammates. His incredible court vision allows him to make pinpoint passes, often threading the needle in tight spaces or delivering no-look assists that catch defenders off guard. His change of pace and ball handling skills enable him to freeze defenders, making him equally as dangerous as both a scorer and a facilitator. Whether it's a pick and roll or in transition, Irving always has an uncanny ability to read the defense, ensuring that his teammates are in the right position to score. Everybody knows that Kyrie is an amazing finisher at the rim. He has a great floater game that he can pull out when he needs to get a shot over the best shot blockers in the world, and he can put crazy spin on the ball to finish at crazy angles. But what I'm going to talk about here is his hang finishes. Kyrie can hang in the air for very long times for finishes. This helps him get shots that otherwise would have not been open or would have gotten blocked. Kyrie is also good at switching hands mid-air to either get a better angle or to get the ball away from the defender. It is also very important to be good with both hands for this, and since Kyrie is, doing this creates so many opportunities that otherwise wouldn't be there with just his right hand. He also uses a lot of bumps at the rim, creating contact with the defender before the finish. This is a great way to get easy buckets and create contact. But just keeping it simple and dribble bumping and in the air bumping is also extremely effective and simple to learn. When Kyrie drives, oftentimes there is help, but not help from the paint, also help from the sides trying to slap the ball and steal it. Kyrie is great at stopping this with his pickups. He mostly uses high over the head pickups that keep the ball above his head, because usually defenders aren't going to reach above your head. But he also uses low pickups where he keeps the ball close to the floor using the same mindset that the defender usually won't reach all the way down there, risking putting them in bad position. He also uses the one-handed pickup where his hand is under the ball and he just keeps it away from the defense, and also frees up the other hand to create contact and kind of swipe at the defender's arm without fouling, of course. Kyrie Irving is often associated with his dazzling one-on-one play and ability to break down defenders in isolation, but he also has demonstrated a strong ability to thrive within team's system. His versatility allows him to adopt a variety of offensive schemes, whether it's a fast-paced transition system or a more structured set offense. Irving's off-ball movement, especially his ability to use screens and find open shots on the floor, enables him to contribute even when he's not directly controlling the ball. He's always finding open space on the floor and getting there. His understanding of spacing makes him an effective piece in offensive that require fluid ball movement and quick decision making. Kyrie is often seen hitting contested shots like this. Contested fadeaways or contested setbacks that just look effortless. And this is because he doesn't get worried when he sees a defender trying to block him. He's gotten enough reps to know where he needs to put the ball to not get blocked. So when he shoots it with confidence. He's shooting to make it and not to not miss it. And that's not just shooting, that applies to all facets of basketball. Don't play to not make mistakes, because you're going to, and that's fine. Play to win. Shoot to make it. Drive to score. Too many players, especially youth players, get caught up in the mistakes they make and forget why they're even playing. Dylan Harper is one of the most exciting recruits in all of college basketball. He has excellent passing vision and he is a pure bucket. And I know every college coach on the planet wants a guy like Dylan Harper on their team, and that's why studying his film can be so beneficial. Like here, Dylan comes off a ball screen attacking, and the help defender sagging off just a little bit, he has enough space to pull off this floater. The reason it's so good to have a floater, especially for point guards, is because you do not have to be tall to do it, and it doesn't really matter how tall the defender is. Even Wembanyama can't block a floater with enough arc on it. On this play, Harper hangs the ball in his left hand for just a second to get a step on his defender, so when he gets to the rim he can go into contact to get the bucket. This hang dribble that nearly every shifty basketball player ever has used works mostly because of his speed and shiftiness. So if you are shifty, you need to start doing this, and probably need to do it more if you already do. Here he doesn't let the defense get fully set before he attacks. This makes the defender overreact and sprint to the spot. In doing this, he crossed his feet and flipped his hips. If you make a defender do only one of these things, you have an advantage. If your defender does both of these things, you are one move away from a wide open shot. So Dylan sees this and does a behind the back deceleration move and makes the open midi. Dylan also takes pride in his defensive abilities. He sees the opposing ball handler pick up his dribble, and this is the best time to try to cut off the pass between your man and whoever has the ball, because most of the time they have to pass the ball. So he knows this and gets in the passing lane for the steal, turning defense into offense. When he has numbers, he automatically attacks with either driving or a quick forward pass. And that's a theme with Dylan Harper. He is a very aggressive player. He's good at getting his advantages, and he's great at using them to score or facilitate for his team. A lot of youth players are scared to attack. Some people think you'll be called a ball hog if you are too aggressive, but being aggressive is about more than just scoring. It creates opportunities for everybody, and it's how basketball was meant to be played. On this play, Dylan does a step back while keeping his dribble to burst out and try to get to the rim. He sees the help defender step in, so he uses a high pickup to keep the ball away from the defender, then makes a tough shot under pressure. Here he gets a ball screen and maneuvers his way around the defense into a slightly fading mid-range shot. This shot is vital to have for all guards, as the slight fade can turn a contested shot into an open one in many cases. It also adds a level of unpredictability to your game. On this play, Dylan will get a ball screen forcing a switch. This is good because when the big man switches onto you, there is a good chance they are slower than you and not a great perimeter defender. This isn't always the case, but this is a good thing to keep in mind. So when he sees that he got the switch, he doesn't hesitate for a second to attack him and get by him for the dunk. This will work especially well in lower levels of basketball, because in high school a lot of big men are playing just because they're tall and are not as well rounded as guards, and there are just a lot more weak links in general. Here Dylan crosses over to his left hand, then attacks the hip of his defender. This is important because you don't want to have to run all the way around the defender, because they will easily cut you off. If you quickly attack their hip, they can't cut you off in time. Then he gets to the paint and Euro steps around the big man for the opposite side layup. Being able to finish on both sides of the rim is very important for tricky situations like these, and a lot of players don't train for these types of situations in games. Here he blows by his defender and does a hop step into the middle of the floor. Then he takes his open layup. Doing this on the middle of the floor instead of the side opens up a lot more for your team because more help defenders can be drawn and the angle of the rim is a lot better. Khan is a projected first round pick in the upcoming draft, and although not being super athletic, he's one of the most efficient scorers in all of college basketball. He plays at his own pace and is a crafty scorer. That's why I think no matter who you are, you can learn from watching Khan play. The thing that most people associate Khan with is shooting. Now a lot of his abilities are rooted in hard work and a lot of reps, but you can learn a lot from his mindset and mechanics. Look at his form, it's pretty fast and looks comfortable. He found a form that feels good and stuck with it. He knows he's going to shoot it before he catches it. Right here on this play, he didn't hesitate to take the shot because he knew when he caught it that it was going to be open. He also won't stop shooting just because he missed one or two in a row. He will find the shots he knows that he can hit, and he will take them. Khan is a crafty finisher at the rim. He uses a lot of pump fakes and step throughs to get open layups. Here he uses the pump fakes to see if the defender will jump, and when he doesn't, he knows that if he goes up strong, he shouldn't get blocked. Here he uses a step through to score on a much taller defender. He's very willing to go into contact. Don't be fooled into thinking that only big, strong players should go into contact. Everybody should do it on their finishes. Looking further into his step through, it's really an amazing move. It's paired with the pump fake to get them jumping one way, then step the other way. Some people think it's a travel because you lift your pivot foot, but you have to lift your pivot foot when you jump anyway. And no ref will call it a travel in a game if done correctly. It's really underutilized in today's game, I think. And I also think this is another reason it works so well, because nobody expects it. It works especially well with Khan because he's an amazing shooter, and whenever he goes to shoot, you need to get a hand up immediately, so people will fall for that pump fake because he's such a great shooter. I reference his physicality when speaking about his finishing, but it needs another mention because of how important it is to his game. Khan is 6'7" and strong. He's not the fastest player, but he has that strength and will use it on you. He bumps early and goes up quickly, so if he gets a bump on you, he can make the slightest bit of space turn into 2 points. He also sometimes uses a hook shot, kind of. You may hear that and think that's only for big man and post-ups, but a running hook shot or an extended arm layup can and should be used by all positions. Khan is an underrated playmaker. He opens up a lot of offense for his team by just being such a good shooter and spreading out the floor, as well as attacking, which creates offense in many ways. But he does not turn the ball over very much. He also thinks ahead and has a natural feel for the game. You can tell he's just played a lot of basketball in his life. Whether he played pickup as a kid or started very young and was playing AAU from early on, he's just got a feel for the game you can only get by playing a lot of basketball, which I recommend all young basketball players to do. Ja Morant is one of the most exciting players in the NBA, and he's obviously very athletic. But what brings him to another level is how he uses that athleticism to score and create opportunities for his team. Right here, Ja uses his change of pace to get a bucket. He stutter steps at the top of the key, then bursts into full speed, only to slow down at the rim for the open layup. On this play, he uses a float dribble into a drive, and watch how when he gets to the paint and jumps, he doesn't just try to jump as high as he can. Instead, he jumps horizontally away from the shot blocker into another easy layup. Here, he's sizing up his defender when he goes into a cross, hezzy baseline, and when the defender cuts him off, spin move into the bucket. This works especially well when driving baseline, because when you spin, you have so much more space than if you did the same move in the middle of the court. So in this play, he basically threatens to drive, and knowing how fast Ja is, the defender backs up to not get blown by, and in turn, Ja reads this and shoots the shot. If you can't shoot and always drive, then defenders will start to do this and make getting to the rim a lot harder, which is why it's very important to have an at least viable jump shot. Here, Ja gets ahead of steam going downhill, and once the defender of his teammate helps a little bit, Ja does a high pickup, putting the ball above his head where the defense can't get it, then makes the easy lay. On this play, Ja gets a ball screen, which forces a switch so he has a slower big man guarding him. And when he sees this, he stops for just a second, uses his change of pace to blow by the slower big man for a layup. Here, Ja gets the ball and instantly uses a negative step to build speed and blow by his defender for the layup. Here, Ja creates a fast break out of a jump ball and gets a straight 1v1 and does a spin move into the open space for a layup. Again, the spin move works because he's spinning into the middle of the floor where the open space is. Here is another fast break, and the ball gets to Ja, and once he gets near the rim, he takes these slow, long, exaggerated steps to throw off the defender, and he lays it in. This was more of a short video. Driving is one of the most important skills in all of basketball. It opens up opportunities for you to score, as well as for your teammates to score. And if you actually want to score high amounts of points in games, you can't just rely on jump shots to do it consistently. I believe there are 3 main important things you need to know about driving to do it effectively: change of pace, recognizing advantages, and taking advantage of them. So stick to the end to learn all 3 of these and become elite at getting to the rim. Most guards know about change of pace, but a lot of people don't know just how useful it actually is. When you see a shifty player, they are good at change of pace. On this play, Ja gets a ball screen, which forces a switch so he has a slower big man guarding him. And when he sees this, he stops for just a second, uses his change of pace to blow by the slower big man for a layup. On this play, LaMelo still has some downhill momentum, but slows down to make the defender relax, just to burst out super fast to get by him. The reason these top players use change of pace and it works so well is because it keeps you unpredictable and makes defenders have to react rather than anticipate your movements to stop you. You can work on change of pace by yourself or in pickup games or in practices. My favorite change of pace move is the delayed tween, which I have a video on my page about. But the key is to just be unpredictable no matter what. Never let them know your next move. Basketball is a game of advantages. Closeouts, flipped hips, mismatches, momentum, and distraction are all examples of advantages that the offense can get on the defense. It's important to be able to recognize these advantages because most effective drives are taking advantage of these. Probably one of the most common advantages you can get is a closeout. When a defender closes out on you, they have forward momentum going out, meaning if you drive, you'll have the momentum advantage, making it easier to get to the rim. As well as closeouts, the other advantages I listed all work in their own right. Like on this play by Harper. Here, he doesn't let the defense get fully set before he attacks. This makes the defender overreact and sprint to the spot. In doing this, he crossed his feet and flipped his hips. If you make a defender do only one of these things, you have an advantage. If your defender does both of these things, you are one move away from a wide open shot. So Dylan sees this and does a behind the back deceleration move and makes the open midi. Now he didn't drive and get to the rim, but the concepts are all the same and he very well could have there. Now that you can recognize the advantages you create, you need to take advantage of them. The simplest ways to do this is just by ripping through and driving, or jab stepping and driving. Different advantages call for different counters, but you can develop this through just playing basketball and thinking about creating advantages of these things. If you go on YouTube and search how to get better at basketball, what comes up? Videos about fixing your form and mostly drills you can do. But rarely do you see videos about the mental side of the game, which I find weird because it's so important and not too hard to do once you get into the right mindset. Today I have 3 tips I'll go into on how to play with more confidence, so let's get into it. Now, not everybody is a role player, and I encourage you not to be, but every hooper just has that thing they love doing. For a lot of people it's shooting, or playmaking, or scoring at the rim. For me, I just love to go get a bucket. That's the type of player I am. So that's what I'm going to do. When I'm playing my worst, I'm not going to worry about if I miss the next shot or stop being aggressive because of it. I'm going to go do what I do. So shooters, take that next shot with confidence, even if you're 0 for 5. It's not bad basketball, because if your coach didn't want you to play your style of basketball, you wouldn't be on the court. Basketball is not a game of what happened, it's a game of what will happen. So just keep doing what you do and playing with confidence. You may see this and say, well, obviously I tried to win, but it's not that simple. What it means is to not play to not lose, play to win. A lot of players might say they hate to lose more than they like to win, but when you're on the court, that shouldn't be your focus. These two things are different. Playing to not lose is shooting to not miss, passing to not turn it over, not being aggressive so you don't make a mistake. Playing to win is taking that shot to hit it, making that pass to help the team get a bucket. Playing aggressively because you know it will crash the defense and make it easier for your team to score, even if you are risking turning it over or missing a shot. This worry-free style of basketball is better because think about it. If you were to get a shot where if you make it you get $100, but if you miss it you get none, or you had a shot where if you miss you lose $100 and if you make it you get none, which shot are you more likely to hit? Most people would say they're more likely to hit the one where they have nothing to lose. So make this the case in the game, because in the end you don't lose points for missing a shot, but you gain points if you hit it. Let me ask you a question. Why did you start basketball? Most people would say they started when they were younger and they had a lot of fun, because basketball is a fun game. When you're playing basketball, you're just having fun. If you're watching this video, you're probably not in the NBA, and not too many people are watching your games. Even if it feels like looking at it in the crowd, most of them don't even know all the rules, and they don't care how you play. When your career's over, Are you going to be happy that you didn't play aggressive because you thought your coach would bench you? Are you going to be happy that you didn't play to your full potential out of fear of what could go wrong? You'll probably wish that you played with full confidence and to your full ability. So have as much fun as you can while you still have the opportunity to. Thank you for watching the video. If you want to watch a video on how to get to the rim, there's a good video on the screen right now. But anyways, keep working.